still chasing fire through the years half slow. Weights on my back, sweat in my eyes. Old man's fight never says die. Old man on the mat, still standing tall. One more round, yeah, I've heard it all. Grip the edge, don't let it slip. Strength in the soul, strength in the grip.
Hey, Old Man on the Mat crew, this is Tony Jones coming at you with another great episode of Old Man on the Mat. Yeah, I say this every time. I'm always excited, but today I'm really stoked, and I tell you why I'm stoked. I'm stoked, the guest I have today, it's a little nostalgia there because my mom, she enjoyed this sport more than I think anybody should have, in any sport. She was so excited. And she always tell me, even when she was on her downside, passing, going to glory, and she'd be in the hospital, and I'd go visit her and hang out with her for a few hours, and she would say, "Hey, Tony, turn on my wrestling." So, and to put it on and to watch her just beam, she would literally sit up in that bed and watch wrestling, and I enjoyed it through her. But guys, I'm gonna dedicate this song to my late mom. I'm gonna dedicate this podcast to my late mom, Mary. She loved this sport. But guys, I'm gonna jump in here before I get all teary eyed and gooey. But this guy here, I'm fired up. This guy was a member of the Professional Wrestling Association. He's a member of the ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. Man, that sport puts some hurts on your bodies, man. But anyway. He's done Shotokan karate. He's done Wing Chun. He's done judo. He's a brown belt in judo, and he just started Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is really cool. But guys, I want to introduce you guys. If you probably see his face there, you probably already recognize the guy. But I want to bring you here to Angel Medina, a.k.a. the Kingpin Angel. How you doing, my brother?
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on. I just want to say it's an honor to come on your show. I'm a huge fan. Look, I'm at work listening to your show. You keep me entertained. You make the time go by real quick. So I really enjoy your show. I really appreciate you putting those contents out there to keep a working class man like me, keep pushing forward at work, because it gets boring.
I appreciate that, man. That's awesome, man. Thank you. So you're my one fan out there. That's awesome. I love it. My one fan. That's good stuff. But man, I'm telling you, man, just when we got a chance to touch base a little bit, and I was looking at some of your things, and it really did. It brought back so many memories because like I said before, just now in the intro, my mom, she really enjoyed that sport. I remember when I was a kid, she would go back and see, I don't know if you remember all the guys' names from old days, Dick the Bruiser and those guys where they were cut their heads and bleed all over the place. And my
Absolutely.
mom she thought that was the best. She didn't like football. She didn't like all the martial arts I was doing. She loved her wrestling, man. But man, I'm fired up, man. Don't get me talking about myself. Here we go. But man, how does this journey start with you in the professional wrestling, man?
It starts as a fan, man. I've always been a fan since I was a kid. Started in junior high school when my buddy, his name was Peter, showed me a copy. For you fans out there that don't know, we used to have magazines before we had the internet. So It was called Wrestling Illustrated, and he showed me the cover, and it was the Four Horsemen: Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tony Blanchard, and Ole Anderson, J.J. Dillon. So I was pretty intrigued, and he was like, "Bro, you got to watch, Clash of Champions. You got to watch it." It was the first pay-per-view on TBS, and it was Sting versus Ric Flair. And I said, okay, I'll watch it. It was on TBS, and I watched it, and I just got hooked. And it was just the male version soap opera. It was just a lot of stories, action, and you couldn't wait till next week to see what transpired in regards to, what's Ric Flair going to do next week to Sting. And I just got hooked, and it was just something that I gravitated to.
And because it is so electric, and so it's like a huge theme, the whole performance that draws people in. And like I said before, watching it with my mom, I never knew anything about it, but I got to know these characters through her, and watching it with her. You guys put some damage on your bodies. How do you do all that stuff and not get hurt? Flying through the air and, jumping off the rings and all that.
During the 90s, a lot of, I hate not saying it, but it was just I didn't do it because I just didn't have that type of mentality. But it was just a lot of drugs and
Oh, wow.
alcohol,
Gotcha.
and a lot. And you know, I mean, look at football. I mean, you know, Eliza Zato doing steroids. A lot of guys taking pain pills. Rapid. You
Yeah.
know, it was just part of the culture at the time. I lost a lot of friends due to drug abuse and stuff like that. But I just never had an addictive personality in regards to pain pills and stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. My vice was women. I was just always traveling and just like hitting every town. I'm surprised nobody's knocking on my door for child support. You know, from every state, every country. You know, so, but it was just part of the business, and I was not used to seeing the what guys put their bodies through, and then because you know the thing about wrestling is that people are afraid to lose their spot.
Mm.
And when you're getting pushed in a storyline, or you're going to be the top star or one of the stars, and you get hurt and you have to sit on the sidelines, you're afraid that the promoter's going to go, well, hey, you know, you just sit out on this and we'll get Jimmy to do, you know, to do the next, you know, do whatever. They'll run something around him, and
Yeah.
then he does great. And then they go, hey, we got an idea. And then you feel like you're being forgotten.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does happen. You know, you lose your spot. And so guys was like, I can't lose my spot. That's the mentality. So they take pain pills, they wrap themselves up, you know, and keep pushing forward and doing more damage to your body, but still on top of the cards. So a lot, like I said, it's just a part of the business at the time. Now it's different, but that's just how it was.
Yeah. So how are you guys to stop being so injured now? I know you guys don't take a lot of drugs, but is it a lot of therapy, you know, physical therapy, a lot of workouts, a lot of things like that, training to stay healthy, or no?
Well, I mean, I'm from the old school era. You know, I was gonna make a quick joke like cocaine's a hell of a drug,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but no, but it's just now. I mean, I'm always been active, but like the guys now, you know, I mean, they're doing physical therapy, stretching, Pilates, yoga, doing mobility work, you know, sitting in the sauna, cold plunges, you know, you know, we didn't have that at the time. So now these guys are learning more like, you know, take care of your body. You have more longevity in the business, and, you know, and so that's what they're doing. I mean, stem cell research, and what's the thing where they take your blood platelets, you know,
Yep.
doing the platelets thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so many medical technology out there that can keep you pushing forward. So that's what a lot of guys are doing. You know, it's expensive, but it is a
Yeah.
good thing to do.
Well, you have to. I mean, especially, and I don't want to say we're a bunch of old farts, but we're old, man. So we have to do the smart thing as younger guys coming up, you know. And I think the biggest mistake of being, you know, athlete myself is the biggest mistake I made as a young guy was I didn't do all the things I should have been doing more flexible. Because back in the day, what did you do? You pull something, you just, let me rub some dirt in it and get back out there, you know, instead of taking the proper time off. So now that we're older, we have more injuries. You know, we feel those things more. I don't know if you guys have the same thing or you feel some of that stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, like it's funny. I never really hurt myself. You know, like I mean, I tore my tricep off. I tore my quad off. I have a partial ankle fusion in my right ankle. But it was just funny because even my buddies to this day tear their meniscus and ACL, and I mean tear it, and they're still walking and they still wrestle and not realizing that it's torn, and then they go to the doctor. Hey, you know, I don't know how the hell you're walking.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Jeez,
I mean, I
man.
had friends who broke their necks and
What?
didn't know they broke their necks until they went to the doctor and said, you know, your neck is broke. I don't know how you drove to the hospital.
What?
And it's just that wrestling mentality, that tough guy mentality that, you know, it's just a stinger, or, you know, oh, it's just a bruise. And then you find out you got internal bleeding.
Oh my
You're like,
gosh,
you know,
man.
you
Holy
know.
cow, man. Because, you know, looking at that stuff, man, as, you know, and I'm sure you've heard it before. You know, wrestling is so fake. That stuff is fake. 'Cause, you know, it's a soap opera. It's fake. But I always tell guys, you try to get thrown around like that. You try to get, you know, jumped off that top rope. They kick you across the ring and you learn how to fall properly. Are you insane? That's crazy, man. You guys were, man.
You know what's funny, but I tell people like, hey, you know, it's fake, absolutely. But you know, it's just like being a stuntman. Let me take you to that tall building up there and put a big pillow at the bottom and say, go ahead, jump. And person's shaking like, but hey, man, it's fake, man. You got a pillow waiting for you at the bottom. Just
Right?
jump.
Right?
But see, it's all. I mean, we're glorified stuntmen, and the thing is, yeah, and you have to learn how to fall. You have to learn how to take bumps. I mean, it's just wrestling. The judo, when you do judo and you do the side falls and stuff and the back falls, that's pro wrestling. That's what we
Gotcha.
do. But we do it from a higher thing. Like we jump in the air and do the side falls. And I know the judo is the same thing, but it's a little bit lower. But it's the same motion, same technique because you're doing the high bump because you're taking a suplex off the top rope, or you're
Yeah.
taking a head scissors off the top rope, and or they press you and they throw you down. You're taking that side fall, so that's why you do that massive bump. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know how to fall in judo, you're gonna get hurt. You have to learn those techniques. Is it fake?
Absolutely.
No, it's just
Right.
it's
You're
protecting
taking the
you.
stuff for real.
You're
You get
distributing. Yeah, you're distributing the impact.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. That's insane watching your stuff. But when you were starting and all that stuff, well, let me ask you this way: does wrestling have to have, or wrestlers have to have a certain mentality? Is it a reckless mentality? From a young kid that you just, you were always getting into stuff that you could, fight guys and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the thing is, you have to have that mentality. You have to. The wrestling business it's a fraternity. I mean, it is. I mean, not a lot of people can make it, and not a lot of people have the understanding of what it takes to be a professional wrestler. So, I mean, not knocking them. It's just that when I came in the business, I want to be a wrestler. It's fake, and and it's just cartoonish and stuff. Until I got my teeth kicked in and
Right.
stretched.
Right.
Because a lot of guys were catch can wrestlers, and my trainer Johnny Rods was a catch can wrestler, and they'll stretch you. And if you're in there in the ring, they're gonna test you. And it's just like in Japan, they test you to see if you got the grit, the drive, and they try to drive you out. Johnny always trained us to be tough, and have that mental toughness. So a lot of guys didn't have that mentality, it just didn't click. It takes time, but it clicks. Just like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like right now I'm like, man, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. Like, brother, it will click. One
Yeah.
day it would just click. And it's just like wrestling. You're like, man, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I understand the politics. And trust me, it would just turn on a light in your head and you go, oh, I see. It's a good business. I'm happy that the generation now is just better compared to what I went through. Nothing bad. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see now these guys, it's huge. Like you got to look at some like the old time athletes too. Some of the older football players, and you look at the contracts they used to have compared to the contracts they have now. These contracts, that's night and day. Is it the same thing as in wrestling? The contracts you guys used to have before, let's say the monetary part. You don't have to get into what you make and all that stuff, but I'm just saying the monetary part from back then to what these guys are making now. These guys are making a full-blown living at it. You know what I mean? A huge lifestyle.
No, I mean, I don't mind talking about my finances in regards to wrestling. I was making good money. I was living high on the hog, man. I was living that pimp style,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like Robert Leach, the lifestyle, not lifestyles of rich famous, but I was like enjoying it.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that I mean, think about it. It's just like, hey, Michael Jordan was making buku dollars then. Look at the guys who are making buku. I mean, you're making triple, quadruple.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was living good then, but these guys are living better. It's just the same balance. Yeah, the guys are making millions when but again, it depended on where you at on the card also. In WWE, it's like, curtain jerkers. Curtain jerkers is the guy who starts off the show. Then you got your mid-carders, guys who start in the second half of the show, in the middle of the show. Then you got your main eventers. Of course, your main eventers are going to get more money on their contract. Plus, you get a percentage of the gate. Plus, you get royalties, T-shirt sales. So there's a lot of other revenues coming in. Plus, you have a downside. So if you're not wrestling and you're supposed to be, and your downside is $100,000 a year, but that's your downside if they're not using you and stuff. But if you're wrestling, your T-shirt sales are going, you could be making 1.5, 2.3 million dollars a year and stuff, but you have to save your money. Some of these guys keep blowing their money and then they don't get used, and then they thinking they're still going to get the downside. But the problem is you already got your downside, because within that $2.3 million was the $100,000 of the downside that you were supposed to get. So if you blow your money, that's it. It's a wrap.
Yeah, you're done,
You're
man.
thinking you're going to get an extra $100,000, $100,000, and it's not. That was integrated in part of your deal.
Oh man! So these guys, you guys got to know what you're making. You got to know your income. Do you have an agent that watches out for all that kind of stuff for you?
No, you can, but no. I mean, you learn from the business. I mean, back then you didn't learn. You guys thought the money. My trainer was my financial advisor. Meaning, when I was a kid, he was telling me stories of guys like in the 70s buying Cadillacs, a lot of gold, cocaine,
Wasting their
all that
money,
stuff,
yeah.
thinking that money was going to keep flowing in.
Yeah.
And then now they're broke. A lot of my heroes, and I'm not trying to knock them, but it's just they're like, you meet them and they're like broke, bro. I'm talking broke. And you're
Man.
like, and you're thinking, bro, you're making money, and you don't ask them, but you're just looking at them like,
Right.
man, you were making millions of dollars and main eventing WrestleManias and stuff, and and you're broke. What the
Yeah.
fuck do you do with your money, bro?
Right.
And I never wanted to be that way. I'm not saying I'm financially set like ridiculous money, but I saved my money.
Smart.
I'm not tight. I'm not Jewish. I'm
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I'm just, the problem is this, and you probably relate. I grew up poor, and I'm not saying poor, but I was living. There was times I looked in the refrigerator. There was just syrup sandwiches and
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
making my own cinnamon toast crunch type of
Yep.
stuff. My mom made ends meet, and we survived. But I always I knew the struggle, and I always promised myself that I would never be in that situation struggling. And I always watched my money to make sure my money was right. And that's why I teach my daughter, get your money right. Don't rely on nobody, nothing negative, just keep your money right. So if you ever get into a relationship and you break up, you don't have a joint bank account.
Exactly.
Just keep your money right. So if you have to leave, you could leave with a big sigh of relief, knowing that you're financially set, and not have to worry about nobody.
Yeah. And I think a lot of fathers should teach their daughters that, man, big time, man. Because nowadays, on a different note, nowadays you see everyone, these young folks, buying houses together, not even married or anything. They're just dating and they buy houses together and they have these joint bank accounts. And I always think, man, who does that? And that's just, I guess that's that new generation, man. Now I'm sounding like an old fart. Back in my day.
But it's funny what I learned. This is like when I was 28, kind of, sort of. I had a buddy of mine come to me crying. He was just walking. It was at work at one point, and he was crying. And I said, "Bro, what's wrong, man? What's wrong?" Yo, my wife. Now this is his wife. He's like, my wife just changed the locks and took all the money out of the checking account, and I have no family here, and I don't know what to do. Because she wanted a divorce. And a lot of people say, "Oh, she won't do that to me," or "He won't do that to me." But
Yeah, they will.
when the shit hits the fan, it's survival of the fittest. And she did what she had to do to make sure she was right, and left him struggling. And he was. So I promised myself when I saw that, I said, I'll never have nobody. And regardless, man or female, I'm just like, don't put yourself in that situation. Make sure you got that emergency fund. So if you got to bounce, you got to bounce.
You got to bounce, man. And I get it, man. I've been through divorce, and it was an ugly divorce. However, I had an excellent attorney. That was the biggest thing. And I remember a friend of mine, when we started going through the process of getting divorced in the beginning, the separation, all that, I'm thinking like your friend was like, "Oh, she won't try to hit everything. There's no way." And a friend sat me down. He says, "Listen, I know you guys, you're great people. I love you both. I'm not choosing sides, but get yourself a good lawyer." And I'm like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
well, okay.
Absolutely.
So I got one, and
And
guess
wrestling,
what? It was good, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, and my first divorce, it was because of wrestling, because I was so laser focused on my
Yeah.
career that it just destroyed my marriage. We had a good relationship. It's just I wasn't balancing life,
Yeah, I get it.
and then she couldn't deal with it, which I respect that, and I was partially to blame, but and we had to separate. And luckily, our divorce, we didn't have to get an attorney. We just
that's
did it on
good.
our own. So both
That's
of my
really good.
divorces, man, it's kind of like, I didn't have to pay no child support. I didn't.
Yeah.
For my one child, everything went
Yeah.
smooth. So I'm blessed. I was just blessed in these
Big time.
situations.
Big time.
But
And
wrestling
that's a
did destroy
testament to
my
your
first marriage.
Here's your first. Well, see, that's a testament to your personality. You're saying a great guy, and you don't think of I'm gonna go fight you for every dime you got and all that kind of stuff. You were just, hey, let's get out of here and go amicable, or go our own separate ways. Was that your mindset?
Well, yeah, man. As long as I left with my drawers and my bag,
Yeah.
don't leave me destitute. Just let me leave with some pride. I got some
Right.
dignity. Let me just walk out the door with something.
Right.
I'm leaving with something. Let me take the bottle of alcohol. I'm leaving with something.
Let me have something in this.
Let me stay. I stood my ground, man. Let me just
Right.
grab this and leave. But like I said, if I had to do it all over again, I would have just focused on try to balance both situations. But again, I was just so laser focused. I'm so driven about, if I'm passionate about something,
Yeah.
I'm just like boom.
Yeah.
And like jiu-jitsu right now, I'm just like boom. I'm having fun. I'm having a great time. I keep,
Yeah.
I'm learning new things, and it's just, it's a blessing, and it's a little bit of a curse, because like I said, man, how many keys do you need, motherfucker? Don't worry about what. Yeah, don't worry what I spend, woman. As long as there's food in the fridge, man. I go to bed in this gi. You know.
I know that feeling, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. 'Cause you gotta look good, man. You gotta look good while you're getting choked out, man. I know.
Yeah, man. You gotta represent like man. Even though he sucked, he looked good while he was going to sleep. That's a nice gi. What is that? Velvet? Beautiful.
Oh man, that's good stuff, man. I know. I look at my closet, I got so many geese and all this stuff, I
You
like
know
them.
what I You know what I want to do? I want to get a custom gi from Boomerang. Remember, he opened the jacket. He goes, mushrooms. Got the belt mushroom. Well, I want to do that. Be like, ooh, look at that, man. I got mushrooms inside.
You should do that.
Coordinate.
You should do that, man. Get it made, man.
I
Oh,
will.
man.
I will. I'm a comedian, bro. Even if I'm on jiu-jitsu floor, I'm just cracking jokes.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Are you the guy or like myself? I'm always on the floor. I'm the one talking more smack, getting choked out while they're choking me out. Like that ain't even deep enough. You ain't getting me, man. You weak.
Oh,
And I'm like,
Oh, dude, I'd be coming out with something out the gate. Like one time we're working and doing jujitsu, and he's choking me out, and I said, "Don't you feel degraded choking out a black guy after all the years you kept us down?" And he released it, and I spun around. I pulled that card, man.
You're like,
What you do to my ancestors, now you gonna do this to me,
right?
He's like, man, that's cold. You cold, man. So I throw out some off the chart jokes in there. I have
Oh
fun.
man, but guys like yourself, you have a great attitude. You get on the mat and you bring it on the mat. You have fun with it. And I tell guys all the time, when you get in any type of martial arts, have fun. Don't be a dick,
yeah.
but have fun. Just enjoy it, man. And especially at our age, you gotta enjoy it, man.
I always learned to be humble. Johnny, my trainer, always taught me to be humble. No matter how
Yeah.
good you are,
Yeah.
you could be the best, and just be humble. Because he taught me something that sticks to me to this day. The same people you meet on the way up is the same people you're going to meet on the way down.
Absolutely.
And I just don't believe my own hype. I could be a ridiculous black belt, and it is. I don't talk about my belts. I don't say what I got, because I don't even consider myself good. And oh no, you're good now. Man, because that's just how I am. I'm just humble. I don't need to go, yeah, man, open my gi, trim
gotta
my
hold your
chest
belts
into
up.
my name, put Kingpin carve my chest hair into Kingpin, look who I am. Nah, man, I'm just going. If I get choked out, I get choked out. I want the
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah, man. That's a great attitude. They say you need the rest.
Yeah,
Now, you usually the oldest guy on the mat, or no? When you're on the training.
As far as I am right now, yeah, I'm the oldest one.
Yeah.
I'll be 54 next month.
Yeah, happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And, they always say, "Oh, man, you're so strong. You're so strong." My back is wide. Certain things they try to do. I'm like, come on, man, I'm not that big. But I got that old man strength. What
Yep.
they say.
Yeah.
But I said I wrestled for so many years, and
Yeah.
I started to keep myself in shape. But my favorite thing is when they call me, "Hey, old man," and I turn around like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2 when he got that gun. He goes, "That shit," and he does that smirk.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, I mean, let's see, and I roll, but I make you work for it. Like I said,
Absolutely.
I make you sweat, so you
Yeah.
can get what you want to get.
You're not gonna lay
like
there.
I said, I even like my eyes bugging out, like in Total Recall when they like the eyes are bugging out. I said, man, you gotta get it. I'm not quitting. I
Giving
just
it to
never
you.
quit. Yeah, man, you gotta put me to sleep.
I feel
You
you,
know.
man. One thing I don't know about you, but I know when you get it, you start training with some of these young guys, and we do a bunch of rounds at the end of class. You train for like maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes, and we roll for the rest of the half an hour of class, and then 5-minute rounds. And I'm trying to always show these young guys that this old man ain't tired. You know what I mean? So I never let them know I'm tired. I get out there, I roll with them all, and I had to learn how to say no to some of those young wild bucks, man. 'Cause I was like, man, you need to calm down. My old ass don't need to get no twisted ankle, no twisted everything fighting you off. I don't know if you're that same mindset or you still, regardless, you're out there going at it hard.
No, man, but that you're right. The one thing, my school is great guys. I love them all, man. They're just, I mean, the jiu-jitsu community is, regardless. I mean, it's just because I'm there. But if I went to your place, it would be great guys.
Well,
It's
that's how
just,
they
I
always are, yeah.
bump into fabulous guys. But I do think, like, man, I got to go to work.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I can't. That's the only concern. Like, man, I'm rolling and I'm spinning. Oh no, 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 man, I got to go to work, man. Like, this young buck, just moment, but it's high school, man. He could go home and have mom
Right.
make him chicken soup. I gotta like, if I get hurt, man, I gotta wait. Meaning,
Yeah.
I gotta wait to get to work to go. Oops,
Yeah.
I slipped.
You're right.
In my back. Like, oh shit, my knee. How the hell you twisted your knee if you there's nothing for you to twist it on? I don't know, bro.
I don't know. I was
you
just sitting down for a
So-
minute at the office here.
There's something on this floor that I just caught on, man. I mean, it must have been something, a fastener or something,
Right.
because that's the only concern I have is just I can't miss. I mean,
Yeah.
I got time, but it's just
I know what you mean.
I like to go to work, make
Yeah.
my money,
Yeah, exactly. And I went to a fight. I was looking for this promoter was trying to get a couple of our guys. This was back when I had my own studio back in the day, and trying to get some of our guys to go fight. So we're going to watch these fights, and this guy, you hear his arm, he's in an arm bar, and you hear his arm snap, because I'm in like the third row, and I hear his arm snap, and he gets up because he wouldn't tap. He's like, I didn't tap. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You probably made $50 on this fight. You got to work tomorrow, right? That mentality, man, I never had it, and I don't have it, man. I don't think so.
Yeah, like when I did judo, it's funny because when I did a tournament and I'm getting thrown around, and I'm like, man, I get paid for this. In wrestling,
Right.
I get paid to get thrown around. And I
Right.
get paid pretty well.
Yeah.
But I'm paying you my entry fee to get thrown around and slammed,
Yeah.
and then you give me a medal, which is fine. It's just I'm afraid to get hurt, because even me being a former police officer,
Oh, wow.
me doing all the other stuff is if I got shot at least I'm behind the car like, well, at least I'm getting paid.
Right.
You try to justify like, well, at least I'm getting paid, or at least I'm getting something out of it, and that's the thing. I break my ankle at a judo tournament, and then I got to go to work, miss work, and
Yeah. You lose
and
money.
all I
doing
got
that
is a
stuff.
medal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But those are
Yeah.
just hobbies, man, and a lot of people don't think that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ego involved in all martial arts, with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of egos in there. Depends on where you go. I've like, if you listen to some podcast, you say I walked into so many different places where there was just, it was just nothing but just meatheads. They got something to prove. And I'm the smiley, happy-go-lucky guy. I'm not going to have you prove it on me, so I'll go find a gym where everybody's just chill. Everybody works hard, but they don't have anything. They don't have anything to prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and no, and I agree. And the one thing I mean, I'm the type of guy like if you hurt me, it's wrestling. Wrestling, I always got hurt. But you're my friend, and I know you didn't do it intentionally.
Right.
I'm that type. You break my nose, it's okay, brother, man. Click
Oh.
and stuff. Just don't knock my teeth out. That's why I got a mouth guard.
There
But
you
can
go,
bust me
brother.
open all the time.
Yeah.
But if I ever bump into somebody, which I hope I never do, that I know he's doing it intentionally, try to hurt me, there's gonna be consequences and repercussions. Because I'm not you know what I mean. Like if you know somebody's intentionally trying to hurt you,
Oh, that's a different
then
story,
you just
man.
don't care.
Right.
Yeah, then me and you're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just not right. Because
Yeah.
everybody has a family to feed, and everybody has other things to do in life. And if you take me out of the equation, then you just don't care. And that's not
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. It's one of those things. I'll match your energy. Whatever you bring to the table, I'll bring it to you. You know what I mean? I'll match
Yeah.
whatever energy you have. Now, you touched on the basics. You're a police officer. How many years are you a police officer?
Well, after it was a 2002 to 2007, 2008.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, man. How'd you like that career?
I loved the job. I just didn't like the politics. So it was just being on the street was not a problem. I loved doing the job. I saw a lot of crazy stuff, but it's just like it's just any political thing, and then you walk into the office and they're like, hey, well, fortunately, a citizen complained, and it's bogus or it's something stupid, and you're like, really, you're really talking to me? Come on, man. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story. One time I pulled over a guy, and he pulled across the street and into like an arcade type of facility with his kids, and I pulled him over. So I had to go across the street, pull behind him, and he was already walking out of his car. Anyway, short story is that I still stayed in my car, like, hey, sir, can I talk to you for a second? You were speeding, yada, yada. I gave him a ticket. I stayed in the car with one foot out, and gave him the ticket. So he made a complaint saying like, oh, officer safety, he didn't get out his vehicle. And I'm like, well, I expected my surroundings, and it was an amusement park. That's one. You were driving a news van, like a news vehicle. It said Kansas News or whatever. and it's officer's discretion. I analyzed my surroundings. It was officer's discretion. I knew I was safe. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, my sergeant was like, yeah, but it's the perception. And I'm like, bro, come on, man, you just milking it now,
Yeah.
and stuff. So those are the politics that I just didn't like.
Yeah, I couldn't be a police officer. I couldn't be a police officer anyway. Do what you guys have to do. Go inside these. You walk inside a home. You don't know who's in there in these dark rooms. You don't know who you're pulling over. Man, I couldn't do it. I commend you guys for doing it. I have two nephews that are Chicago cops, and I commend them big time, man. I couldn't do it, man. I could not do it. Now, do you think the
Yeah.
respect for police officers have changed over the years from when you were to now? Because you see, the police don't get much respect at all nowadays, which I think is sad.
Yeah, man, should be a firefighter, man. That's the best job to get. Everybody loves a firefighter.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, even back then it was just, I was called Uncle Tom, a
Yeah.
sellout, but nobody ever, I mean, I never got into no fights. I mean,
Oh, that's good.
because I mean, I was a big dude, and I just talk, man. I'm very
Yeah.
verbal judo, man. I was
There
always
you
like, hey,
go.
man, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always humble, and I always talked to people because I knew how it was, on the streets and things transpired. So I always talked to them normal and respectfully, and I'm like, do you really want to take it up to that next level? Because I got these three other guys behind me. If you do make a move, you're gonna go straight to the hospital.
Right. Right.
Because we had one rule, if we go peacefully, or there's two trips, man. One first St. Francis, the hospital, then the jail. So, and I told him that, but nicely. I said, man,
Yeah.
if you kick it up a notch, we're going to the hospital first, and after that, we're taking you to jail.
You're going to jail
'cause
regardless. So how do you want to do this?
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
gonna go up. You're gonna go not lumped up or lumped up. You got two options. How many
Man.
lumps you want? Like that Panther and Bugs Bunny. 3 or 4.
Yeah. See, those are great cartoons, man. We had good cartoons
many
back
lumps-
then, man.
Oh yeah, they're kind of racer too. Funny, they'd be throwing out some off-color stuff. No, you can't do that now.
You can't do that now. What was it? What was that one? It was a cartoon with Tom and Jerry. The maid, she was a black woman. You could tell she was black the way she talked. She always had all they show was her big ass on the screen wherever she walked. You remember that
Oh
one?
yeah. She was hitting Thomas with the broom and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I remember that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like an Aunt Jemima type of
Yes,
voice.
that's it.
But see, what's funny? Like those times, you have to have tough skin. I have a great
Yeah.
sense of humor.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can tell me off color, so
All
racial
day.
jokes, but nowadays it's like, oh, that's not appropriate. That's wrong. I'm like, what the hell, man? Get some tough skin, man.
Right.
This is, I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, everybody's sensitive, man. I'm like yourself. I have the same kind of sense of humor. I love a joke's not funny unless it's off color to me. It's like, hey, come on, man.
yeah.
Give me something to make me laugh. Give me something to go at it, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's comedy, man, and
Yeah.
and now everybody's all politically correct. Like it's
Yeah.
not right, man. That's why I just listen to Bernie Mac or Ariel
man.
Spears or some real comedians that throw it out there.
Oh yeah, man.
You
Some
know.
of those old school comedians, man, they brought it, man. Oh my, what's Richard Pryor, man? Come on, Eddie Murphy,
Richard
come
Pryor.
on, man, come
Can't,
on,
can't beat that, man.
man. I should sit
Dave
my.
Chappelle.
Oh, Dave Chappelle. Oh my gosh, I love Dave Chappelle. But I liked it before he got so political. Now he's getting more into the politics stuff, and I'm like, man,
But it's a little bit funny still.
yeah, it's still funny. And I look at anybody, actor, comedian, whatever. And I don't mean to sound degrading, but it's like, entertain me. That's all I want. I just want to be entertained. I don't want to tell me how wrong I am or something. I don't care. I'm here to let the world go, to laugh at your jokes or watch you play or watch you act or whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's just my mindset. Let's have a good time.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Now, when you were growing up, were you also in different in sports? Were you in football? You said you wrestled for a while. What was your childhood like?
So I mean, I grew up in Long Island City, Queensbridge. I went, like Queensbridge is infamous for I went to school with guys from Mobb Deep, Nas. I was there when the rap industry was kicking off. MC Shan, Roxanne Shante was from Queensbridge. Metal World, Ron Artest, who played for the Lakers, is from Queensbridge. I mean, I grew up with all those guys. Even though Ron Artest is a little younger, I remember him. I was more cousins than to him. My dad died when I was 14. I was running the streets a lot, doing a lot of not gangbanging stuff, but typical stupid stuff when you're a kid. So when my dad passed away, I needed to focus on, to be a better person. So I just started to, I did football in high school. my dad died in '86, so I did wrestling in high school. I always tried to stay active. My mom put me in Shotokan karate because I was at a point where my dad was gone and she needed
Yeah.
me to focus my energy somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I did that for like a year or two. Then, of course, I can't remember everything else, but then through the years, I was like I did Wing Chun. I went to Chinatown and started doing that. And I was just I did Hung Gar, I did that.
Oh
It was
man.
all in Chinatown, man. I went to straight to Chinatown in New York City, man. I wanted to be like Bruce Leroy, walking in with a hat,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Just walked down the street, but I was buying kung fu shoes. I had
Oh,
the
man,
jacket.
remember those shoes?
Oh yeah, I had all that stuff, man. I was living like, shoot, I wasn't eating with chopsticks, but I was just like I was engulfed in it. So then, I was always active. I always wanted to stay active. And then at 17, I got into pro wrestling. It came on TV. A Good Day New York, I remember, and there was a segment, the simple segments that they had, like, oh, we're here at world's famous Gleason's gym, which is the world famous boxing gym, Muhammad Ali. I met Roy Jones. I met Arturo
What?
Gatti. Zab Judah was in the Golden Gloves when I was there. Mitch Green was punching the bag with his Jerry curls dripping.
Everywhere.
Oh yeah, he was there just punching the bag. He was a nice guy to me, man, but he was dripping, bro. Soul glow. Every time he spun his head, bro, it was just like getting hit with hot grease, So I was like, man, but I didn't want to say nothing, man, because
Right?
if he could take a punch from Mike Tyson, I just didn't want to get involved.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I meant, Gleason's gym is that was my home. It's just funny, man, because I used to pay $40 a month. Yeah, $40 a month for my membership to walk through the door of Gleason's gym. I had to pay Johnny my dues to wrestle. And now, man, they want like $150 a month. And,
Man.
I'm like, what, $150 a month? I
Just
told
to
Bruce.
watch
Bruce
it.
is the owner. I'm like, man, can I still get my old deal, $40 a month?
Like, nope.
Yeah, Bruce is a cool dude, man. He's still there.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
but I and then I got into wrestling, and Johnny was my father figure. He guided me to, he made me the man I am today, of my mentality, my humbleness. I needed that guidance, and he's always been there for me. He's a good dude to me, and Johnny Raj, number one. I gotta
Really?
give him a call.
Wow, man. So you came up through some heat times, man. Some great, great, great times, man.
Yeah, I'm blessed, man. I'm cross paths. Nori. He was from Noriega, Capone. All those motherfuckers were like.
Man.
It was New York City, man. I was bumping into a lot of people, and it was just great, Johnny was the one who trained the dad from the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
Fritz von Erich. He
Yeah,
trained at Gleason's gym. Johnny trained him to be, the father, and to the mannerisms of wrestling, to the claw. Johnny trained a lot of celebrities for their roles, and like I said, Gleason's been in a lot of TV shows, and $1 Million Baby. I think.
Oh, wow,
he
yeah.
trained. Yeah. If you Google it, man, Gleason's gym has the lineage of like a lot of stuff.
When you came from that environment going into wrestling, was it very similar? You know what I mean? Was it very similar with the, that kind of history from the Gleason gym onto the wrestling area? Were you still in that same box?
I was kind of like, okay, it's just like, leaving the house, your parents are taking care of you. You're treated the right way, your values and stuff like that. And then you says, and your dad opens the door. Okay, son, this is the real world. Now it's time for you to go and make your mark. And then when you go there, you see all this stuff. Like, it's like, man, I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is different. This is you still kept your values, but now you're seeing things out the gate like, oh shit, cocaine? What the hell is this? You're seeing things, with your virgin eyes because you're still green in the business. It was a shock. It was a shock. So their values were Johnny trained us differently. It was just a different view. It's just when you went out there. I'm not knocking my friends. It's just they grew up differently, and they kept doing heroin and all that stuff and pills and downward spiral. Great bunch of guys. I won't leave my wallet around.
Right.
Make sure I leave that in the hotel room. Like guys used to put their wallets in their socks, bro. They used to take their wallet.
Yeah.
And the wrestling boots used to come up to your calf. They used to stick their money in their boots.
While you're wrestling, you
Tie their
have your
boots.
money in your boot
What?
because people going through your lockers.
Yeah, man. Guys would be like, I'd be taking my chain off, man. I was like, dude, I was like, here comes Debo. And just take off your chain, your watch, hide it in a potted plant. I was like, yo, some wrestlers were coming like, yo, I thought I had 20. Yo, I don't play. I kept, every time I go to a show, everything stays in a hotel, take off my chain.
Yeah.
Because that's my mindset. I'm not saying they will,
But you
I
just
don't
making
sleep on
sure.
nobody. Yeah, man, come back and like, yo, where's my watch? So I keep everything at the hotel, and I keep my money in my boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That's
stuff.
smart.
But but now I'm lucky because now like they cash at me, they Venmo me, so I don't really carry cash. I mean, the most I carry is like maybe $30
Yeah.
for emergency funds,
Yeah.
just in case I need it.
Yeah.
But I'm always tapping away.
Yeah. Doop, doop, doop.
So,
On everything. Boop,
yeah,
boop.
Yeah.
That's smart, man. Now,
yeah, I got to.
you traveled everywhere. You traveled from Puerto Rico to Japan to now. How was that experience? Just being able, were you like gobstopped? Were you just blown away when you got to travel all over the world to do what you love?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm always keeping it 100. When
Yeah.
I wrestled, man, going to these countries, I was the anomaly, man. When in Africa with those little gopher things that go like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They look, man. The females when they saw that chocolate skin. You go to Switzerland, they like, they're tired of vanilla. They're just like, what is that? And then you got that swag, you're from New York, or you're from Kentucky or whatever, and they hear that. It's just like when you go to England, you hear that English girl go, hey, mate.
Oh, man, I love it.
You're like, I got some tea and crumpets in my hotel room if you want to come over. It's the same thing. They see you and they're like, man, that's an anomaly. That's an exotic bird I never seen before.
Yeah.
And so I love traveling, man. I made some great friends and made some great acquaintances. That's why I always joke, like, I'm surprised, I got kids internationally, because it was just, never saw I never saw half black, half Puerto Rican, Chinese baby. They be hold that baby up like in the movie Life, like
It's yours.
what the hell is it? This is a strange mix. But
Oh, man.
I met, like I said, I met some good friends, man. They treated me good. It's just I love traveling.
Yeah.
I wish I was young again to like in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like travel.
Yeah.
Of course, you're not gonna make any money, but just
you get to see
to
places.
travel, you see places, and but if I was making money like wrestling and doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, living the
man.
life, shoot, bro.
Man.
Especially with today's technology, it would have been even better.
And you'd have more kids. No.
I would have more kids. No, they would have found me like, oh, now Google that motherfucker,
They would have found you.
Because the 90s, when you disappeared, you
Yeah.
fell off the grid.
You were
They had to,
gone. There
like,
was no internet to catch you. There was no nothing to find you.
Yeah, man. You had to get a private investigator and stuff. And
Right.
yeah, they had to find your ass.
The little
You
Ling
know.
walks up on your porch. Dot, dot.
Yeah, I know, right? I'd be knocking on the door. That's the thing. But they'll find you now. But
Right.
then it was different. But yeah, like I said, I was blessed with wrestling, a lot of traveling. I made a lot of good friends, man. And I still keep in contact to this day. I mean, what feels good is that like one time a guy from Nova Scotia reached out to me like Angel, like out the gate,
Oh, wow.
sent an email, found me on Facebook. And he said, Angel, I know you don't know me, but I'm a huge fan. I used to watch ECW, and my son or daughter, I think she had like she was wheelchair bound, just with the tube. I can't remember what she had. It'll be on if you could send a picture. And she's a huge fan. I've been showing her ECW, and she loves wrestling. And if you think that you don't have an impact on people around the world,
Yeah.
when there's somebody across the ocean or the Atlantic or the Pacific, and they know who you are, and you're like, you reached someplace far, and you entertained them. Oh yeah, I mean, and they appreciate you, and man, it's just a picture that they want. I send them a picture, autograph cards and stuff,
Yeah.
things, and I made a package and I mailed it. And tell your kid I said hi. If you need anything else, just don't hesitate to reach out. I appreciate that because I sometimes think like, man, I'm fading away like leaves in the wind, and like Thanos snapping his fingers, and
Yeah.
I'm just.
Everything gone.
And then
Yeah.
this guy, but then there's people out there like, man, I remember you, and you're great, and they hold you up at a so high standard, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're looking around like,
Me?
You talking to me? You know, and it feels good, man. But
Yeah.
again, that's when my humbleness comes because I don't believe my own hype, and I just feel honored that they just even consider me as one of the wrestling legends, and I just don't see it. But I'm happy that I'm making their day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that brings the enjoyment of me, you know. And that's why I like to do the jujitsu, man. It just feels it's just the humbleness and just meeting great guys and you know and a whole, you know, so hey man, I remember you wrestling. Some guys came up to me and did that. I'm like, oh, you know, it just feels good, man. That's all.
You ever get any guys say, hey, can you pick me up and slam me like they do on TV and do it for me and take a picture?
Oh man, yeah, those guys like yeah, my wife's a you know my wife's a huge fan. You know, she used to watch my shows, and you know, back in those days, guys would be like, oh really,
Yeah.
you know. No, but like I said, I mean, I could tell you some stories. You'd be like,
Tell it. Come
nah,
on, man.
that
Let it
ain't
out.
happening. No, I remember one time. No, this is a good story. There was one time. Oh my God, that's so hysterical. There was one time. I always stayed at a different floor. So if the guys stayed on the second floor, because they partied, man, they bar hopped. So they always went to room to, you know, and I was always low key, so I always stayed like on the third floor on the far rear end of the
Yeah.
hotel, so nobody knew where I was at.
Yeah.
So, but I used to get phone calls like, brother, you got to come down here and see this. So one of my friends, Balls Mahoney, he passed away. He, this guy had this fetish of like his wife. He was in a wheelchair, and he's like, oh, you know, whatever. They were like swingers or whatever, and so they partied and did all these drugs, and anyway, they called me. One of the guys, dude, you got to come down and see this. So I come down there, and thank God, the Lord above, there was no camera phones or recordings for this thing. This is all speculations and you know, storytelling time. But man, they had this guy. They took a mattress, they pushed the bed, and pinned him to the window. And now, don't get me wrong, he wanted my friend to like have relations with his wife.
Yeah.
But since he got cocained out and in alcohol, they pushed the bed and pinned him against the window, and they put the brake on the seatbelt. So while my friend was enjoying his moment with his wife, the guy's reaching at her, he's crying, my wife, my
Oh,
wife. And I'm like, oh, hell no,
no.
man. I got to get out of here, man, because if the cops show up and they're going to question me, and I'm be like, I don't know nothing.
I don't know nothing.
So, you know, but yeah, man, like I said, it was just one of those moments where you're like, man, did I see what I just saw? You know, did I just imagine it? And that was a part of the business, you know.
Yeah.
It was just entertainment and just good stories. And yeah, like I said, if there was camera phones, we'd be up in front of may the defendant please rise.
Right.
They just called me to the room. I
walked out.
You know, and stuff. And, you know, like I said, I've been to Kentucky. I've been to
Yeah.
Mississippi. I mean, like I said, there was times when we were like, I'll tell you a good story. One time we were driving to Mississippi. We're going to a show. I can tell you two stories.
Tell them all, brother.
So we're in Mississippi and we're driving, and my partner's Italian, and my other buddy was, you know, white American, mixed with everything. So we're driving, and we get to a town. And I swear to God, it was just like the movies, like the general store, and these guys sitting on the porch playing, like, I don't know, checkers or whatever. And they're like, fuck, Angel, I don't know where the fuck we're at. Why don't you go and ask directions? And I'm like, hell no, man. In Mississippi? I said,
Nope.
You get out and you ask questions. I'll stay in the back. Oh, sorry, boss,
Right.
we lost our way. You know, I would have had my kerosene lantern like, oh, you know, like it was like freedom, bro. So and I was just like, no, I'm not getting out. And then one time we went to Atlanta, and we went to a rest stop, and they went to the bathroom. I came out, they went in, and I'm sitting there in this huge statue, and I'm reading the name, and I'm like, George Wallace, in honor. Then it hit me. I was like, ain't that the dude that didn't let the black kids into the school? It was the guy in the Forrest Gump, you know, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I am in a fucking Atlanta, you know. I was just like, because you know, like, I love those towns. All those towns were great. They treated me. But man, when you watch Mississippi Burning, and you watch, you know, and you watch all those movies, and
You think
thinking
it's
like,
gonna be like that everywhere you go?
you know, because I mean, it does have a, you know, history. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
you know, look what we got here, Jebediah. You know, you're like, Like you're freaking out. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be shook, man, and
Yeah.
not shook like you could tell, but I was like, man, and when, you just feel that you feel that
You
weight,
feel it.
like
you feel it. Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff. I would be like, put a little, put a little white powder on my face, lighting my skin up, making sure, But like I said, but hey, that's just me watching movies. But
Yeah.
Mississippi, loved it. Memphis, loved it. Kentucky, loved it.
Yeah.
Like I used to tell people, man, I'd love to go to Kentucky because that's why I became the honorary Kentucky colonel. But I always
awesome,
wanted to be
man.
like, man. Everybody got a fetish, man. I always
Yeah.
wanted to be like the Magnolia Queen.
Oh, man, yeah.
With the parasol, drinking the mid julep black, and the dad with the Colonel, the Colonel white beard with the little bow tie. Like,
Yeah.
over there, come here, boy. You know, like this is my bow angel. Like, what the hell just transpired here? But like I said, everybody always treated me with open arms. Everybody treated me with love. I love
Man.
Kentucky. I love it. Just, but like I said, when you walk through, you just think that
You
feeling.
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, I never had any issues and stuff. But I
That's
went
cool.
to Virginia. We wrestled in Virginia one time, and we went to a town. I can't remember what it was, and everybody looked weird.
Okay.
Everybody just like had this like, man, these people don't look right.
Yeah.
I mean, just weird.
Really?
So, and I'm trying to figure this out this whole time. It was like West Virginia or something like that. And the guy said, man, maybe it's just me, but there's something wrong with this town. Like, it's like the town, it's like the hills have eyes. The town that drove it,
Oh, man,
like
that kind of weird.
like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was that they just looked weird.
Yeah.
And then and the guy told me like, yeah, this town is known for like inbreeding
Oh,
and cousins
man.
and stuff.
Oh,
And
man.
then when he told me that, and you're looking and you go, okay, I see it. I mean, I'm talking the whole town. So remember that story? Like I'd be like, yeah, man, I partied with women. That town, I was just like,
Nope.
quarantine. Big old quarantine sign, like negative. My gene pool is not going into this town.
None of them.
This is forbidden. Forbidden. Like Mustafa, what's wrong with that, Dad? I tread that land, my son. It's forbidden.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so like stuff like that, the classic stories, man.
Oh, man.
And when I tell it, people are like, nah, that didn't happen. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, it's a true story.
You need to go see some of that stuff, man.
And I don't know what town it was. I asked some of the guys who were with me on that show, I'm like, what was that town?
Yeah.
But I do remember what you were telling me, but I don't remember. It was in Virginia. So.
Oh, man. And you mentioned it briefly, but you're honorary colonel out of Kentucky, right?
Yeah, hold on a second, man. When you bringing that up, I have to bring out the plaque.
That's
That's right, gentlemen.
I love it.
Honorary Kentucky colonel from the Governor Andy Bashir?
Yeah.
Bashir?
Oh,
yes,
man.
that's right, man. They said I could put it on my driver's license. I always, so I'm thinking
Let
about
him
doing
off
that.
right now. He's a colonel. Let him off. Keep going. Keep going.
No, one of my things is like, like if they go, Mr. Medina, first of all, let's get this straight. Address me as Colonel, Mr. Medina. I earned that monarchy, my son.
That's good
not
stuff,
everybody
man.
gets to get. Oh, dude, I'm so proud of it because it's a great conversation piece.
Man, so you went down to Kentucky. Someone reached out to you and said, "Hey, can I?" How'd that go? Let me not mess it up. How'd that go?
It was a fan. It was a fan that reached out to me on Facebook.
Yeah.
And the true story is like, hey, you don't know me, but I'm a huge fan of yours, and I think I've friend, a lot of people friend request me, and I'm just like, oh, I'll take them, So that's how it transpired. So he was like, it'll be an honor that, I want to nominate you as a Kentucky colonel. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, Kentucky colonel, like, am I Colonel Sanders? And, like, I thought it was a joke, really.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, it's not a joke. I'm like, you're pulling my chin. No. And he gave me the website, and I went on it, and I saw all the lineage of all the, I can't remember everybody, but I think Muhammad Ali was one of them. I think it was a bunch of people. So I'm like, hey, man, if you want to nominate me, if you want me, hey, go for it. If that's what you want to do, it's fine. It's fine. So I didn't think nothing of it. And then I can't remember the whole thing, but I think I got like a questionnaire and stuff. And it was, he did all the work for me.
Yeah.
And then I got an email saying, congratulations, sir. You have been an honorary Kentucky colonel for the state of Kentucky and all this stuff. And I'm like, God damn with this bullshit. You know, not to say it was bullshit, but I still didn't
You thought it
believe
was
it. And
fake.
then it
You just
came.
thought it was some messed up stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't believe it. Like it's like,
Yeah.
and they came with a nice package, man. Little box. I opened it up. You know, I mean, I'm surprised it didn't have like lights in it when you open it up like Pulp Fiction. Like,
Oh,
oh, yeah. And then I pulled it out. It had a card and it gave me all my benefits, like saying, yeah, I could go to
man.
half off at the Kentucky Derby. You know, which I won't because somebody will throw the keys at me and go, it's the red Porsche. You know, make sure it's parked close. so you know, and I don't have any on those cool hats. They think I'm
Yeah.
a pimp. I'll get it with a feather in it.
The pimp at the
So-
Kentucky Derby.
Knowing me, I would do that, you know, with the goldfish in my shoes.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, and I was like, and I'm proud of it, you know. Like, you know, another wrestler of mine, he lives in Kentucky. He got it, and he was like on Facebook years later. He's like, look at me, I'm a Kentucky girl, and I was like, no, bitch, I was first.
I was first.
I was first, so I was shaking my head like, yeah, you know. So I know you're proud, but you not, you know, I'm the first. And he goes, oh, that's cool, you know. He just started razzing me and stuff. And
That's awesome,
like I
man.
said, it was a blast. I appreciate it. Like I said, things like that transpire. You know, it's an honor. I just don't believe it, but like I said, people in Kentucky want to honor me with this blessing, and
Yeah.
and I accept it. And I love it. I cherish it.
Yeah.
You know, and trust me, if I go back to Kentucky, I'll probably like take it to printer store. I'm like, can you make this like a 8x, a little smaller so I can
So I
hang a
can carry it
lanyard
wherever-
around it?
Care about your
You
neck.
know, put a nice, carry my around my neck. You know, me get pulled over. Hey, you sure you want to do this, officer? I got connects. You know, they don't want none of this smoke.
Oh man, that's
You know.
awesome. Speaking of getting pulled over, what was it? Have you ever gotten out of a bad situation because of your name?
No, not really. I
Okay.
mean, we never got pulled over by the cop. No, we did get pulled over, but I was sleeping in the back, and the
Yeah.
guy was flashing the flashlight because I was laying down.
Yeah.
But he was speeding. But no, man, we never got pulled over. I mean, there was stuff like, like Salamanca, New York. We wrestled. It was a small town. You know, we got into bar fights. You know,
Oh, really?
And
Oh man.
yeah, because I don't get into fights. But if I was with you and we're hanging out, and and if it kicks off, you're my partner. I'm gonna
You have to
I'm gonna
roll
jump in the
too,
mix.
yeah.
Then I actually like, yo, what the hell happened?
Right,
Because I'm jumping in the mix, not knowing what happened.
right.
But I always got your back. Just tell me the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got into bar fights. Because remember, a lot of my friends had some drug issues or drinking issues, and they got into their feelings, or they got huffy and stuff, and a fight breaks out, and I just got to back that play and just figure it out later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Angel was always in the back. I was like Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies, when he's in the shadows watching his wife dance
covered
and
up,
stuff. I'm in the bar in the back, just kicking it, eating my wings, and having a beer, and and then watching what's transpiring.
Yeah.
And then when things went off, I just came out of the shadows. Like,
Yeah, that's the best way to be, man.
Look who's good. Look who's walking in darkness. So, that's how I roll, man. I just kept myself quiet, but when it was time for me to make an appearance, I just intervened. But
Yeah.
I was always laid back.
I can tell with your personality, you're fun, you're laid back, you're chill.
Oh,
Man,
dude.
that's good
If
stuff.
we were on the road doing jiu-jitsu and we're on the road going to the next town, dude, yeah, man, we'd be laughing, bro.
Oh
'Cause I
man.
just be,
And
you know,
you
'cause
guys
that's how
drove yourselves everywhere, right? You guys didn't have jets
a lot
and
of-
flying. You just drove everywhere.
there was we flew to the towns. So like for
Okay.
example, if we were like let's say we were in North Carolina, we landed in Greensboro,
Okay.
and we're wrestling in Greensboro, but then we got to go to the next town. Well, we're not going to fly to the next town, so
Right.
2-3 hours away. We drove. We had a rental car and we drove. So
Okay.
there was the adventures of the adventures of driving or cracking jokes and stuff and
Man,
stuff,
making
and,
memories in
just
life,
driving each other
man.
crazy.
That's
it was
cool.
it was a
man.
blast.
Man,
know.
that's good stuff, man. Now, what's coming up next for you, man? Are you gonna start being like a Don King manager for like midget wrestling or something like that, or no?
No, man, I'm still gonna do my podcast. I do a podcast called Shooting from the Hip.
Okay.
With a gentleman Jack. So we do that. It's all wrestling related, but I'm always cracking jokes on there. And I'm just gonna do like public appearances if it transpires. I mean, this is my last year, man. It's only like I don't want to go, but it's time, man. I mean, it's not fair to the fans. I mean, I'm losing my step. My knees not as great, and stuff. And I mean, I'm talking like I got to put, dude, my regimen every day before I do jujitsu is, I'm not gonna lie to you, red light therapy. First thing in the morning, I got the red lights going on my knees. Okay, then I get the Voltaren, arthritis gel. I put that, I put that on. I let that dry. Then the third coat, get the Tiger Balm.
Oh, old school Tiger Balm. Oh man,
put the Tiger Balm on. Then I let that dry. I go in the kitchen, take 2 Tylenols and 3 ibuprofens. Have my coffee. Put on neoprene sleeves on my knees.
Yeah.
Then I put my Anaconda knee brace on. And then I do like 50 Hindu squats.
Okay.
Get that crunch out. And then I work out for a little bit, and then I go straight to jiu-jitsu. And then when I get to jiu-jitsu, it's stretching.
Yeah.
And I show up like 30 minutes before class, stretching.
Yeah.
Stretching, and then I get on the mat. See, that is my daily routine, man. I mean, like it's half my life doing that. I mean, I'm not complaining, but I'm like, God damn, I'm doing this whole process. When I was younger, I'd just jump up and just go.
Just jump on and go, yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, my knees are just a little bit of arthritis.
Yeah.
I told you I got a torn quad. I tore my quad off. So sometimes my knee gives out. So, so yeah, but I'm still strong. But I told you, if I stop doing what I'm doing, like working out, doing kettlebells, doing jujitsu, I'll just be like, I'll be like that fat dude in Blade, just sitting there watching TV. Just, big old neck, big old titties, just watching YouTube chat, and I can't be that way.
Right?
I got to keep pushing. I got to keep grinding. And, so I just love it, man. My school is great. My trainer's great. I know him for many years. It's called Immortal MMA. They're a great bunch of guys, and there's a lot of great jiu-jitsu schools in Wichita, but I just feel at home there.
Yeah.
I do feel at home at other places, but like, that's just my bread and butter, my meat.
You feel play. Yeah. I get it, man.
And I just have a blast with those guys, and and that's where I got my judo. Before I did my trainer who did judo is there too.
Okay.
He's trying to get me back, which I am going to go back, but I'm just like, God damn, I just want to get thrown.
Right.
Just,
Get thrown, getting up again. Oh, I hated that, man.
Especially when you're cold, that first randori, and you're like, and they throw you, give me a second, man. Then I get warmed up, I'm fine.
Well,
then when I get home and I cool off, and I sound like bubble wrap in the bathroom. All that popping and clicking, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I'm like, Danny Glover, I'm too old for this shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, too old for this shit.
But I can't stop, man, because if I stop, then I'm gonna, like I said, man, life's too short, man, and I can't baby things.
Yeah,
and like I said, I'm still strong and I'm still pushing. Like I said, if I stop and I'm feeling it now, like I'm okay, but I'm feeling it a little bit. Man, think about it if I didn't do it, man.
Exactly, man. You gotta keep.
Like, what's that dude with the he died, but he was like the smartest guy, and he was in the wheelchair.
Which one was that?
Stephen Hawkins.
Oh, Stephen Hawkins. Yeah, you'd be like Stephen Hawkins.
Yeah.
Talking to your computer.
He said, "Hey guys, can you pass the butter?" Nah, dude. I can't have it. I'll be in tears. I got too much pride.
Man. You hit it on the head, man. When you're out there as active as you are, active as you were, and active as you are, you have to keep moving, man. And I think there's a big mistake most guys when we get a little older, we stop. Well, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm not going to do anything. That's a huge no-no.
And you know what scares me the most, and this is a true story, is when you get that phone call from your friends go, yo, dude, did you hear Steven died?
Yeah.
And you go, Steven? Man, how old was Steven? And the dude is like 10 years younger than you or 7 years younger than you. And you're like, man, Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Right.
No.
Right. Everybody start doing something.
I ain't next, bro. I got to I'm popping supplements, you know what I'm saying? Get my blood checked. No, because I can't go like that, man.
Yeah.
If I have a heart attack and die, at least I lay there, you know what I'm saying, man? At least I tried.
Right. At least you tried on the mat. You tried out there working out. Yeah. You didn't lay on the couch eating Doritos.
If you have a heart attack and you never lift weights, then you gave up on yourself a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
See, let me tell you a story. I had a buddy of mine. yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking him, but I'm
Yeah.
keeping it 100, man. He
Yeah.
was like, he got fat. Dude, you got to work out, man. You got to, man, fuck it. Eating chili dogs and drinking
Man.
beer. And then, man, if it happens, it was in the cards. So when I went to see him, he had a heart attack and he got his chest split open. And he's like talking to me and you could see the tears in his eyes. You know, jokingly in my mind, like, hey, what happened to the guy? Like, man, this isn't a car, it's God's way and stuff. But then when you realize it, when it happens and you're laying in that bed and you're like, you know, life is slipping. And now you're crying because you know you were in the wrong. And you didn't make no effort to try to make your life feeling good. Yeah, you can have your cheeseburger, man, but put it in a lettuce wrap or, you know,
something.
Get something, man. Try to balance it out.
Yeah.
But now you're crying and now you're saying, man, look at my chest, man. It's cracked open and, man, nah, man, I can't do that. I can't give up on myself. You're giving up on yourself.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. I like what you said. You're giving up on yourself, and you got to put yourself first a lot of times, man. It's not neglecting a lot of other people, but you have to take care of yourself, man. You have to, man. In this day and age, there's so many things out there that can keep us healthy. Like you were just touching on supplements. You know, exercise is huge. You're lifting weights, and people don't realize as you get older, the stronger you are, the healthier you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Man.
I don't want to be like James Evan holding up the chair. Hypertension? Do I look like I have hypertension? I ain't doing that, bro. You know?
Man, you got a great personality, okay. Man. I'll tell you, man, my face is hurting over here, dude. Right here from laughing.
I bet you when people watch this podcast, who the hell is James Evans? You know?
I know, right?
Who the hell?
Who's Florida? Florida Evans?
You know, I'm quote old school shows, and they're like,
I know.
You know, who the hell is this guy? You know,
it got me when you mentioned the goldfish in your shoes. Nobody gonna remember that from old boy from Starsky and Hutch.
I know. I was feeling like, what is that, Velvet? And they'd be like, oh, I don't get it. I don't get that joke, you know, and stuff, you know.
Hey, but what's the podcast for? Old Man on the Mat. It's for old folks. We'll get it.
Yeah, just some, you know, unless it's some dude that just like, all I watched was the Partridge Family and, you know, Love American Style and Love Boat.
I watched those when everything else wasn't on. I turned those on because I'm sitting around watching that when everything else was gone.
Oh, yeah. I used to watch Maude. I used to watch those shows like because it was always back to back. It was like, I remember it was Good Times or vice versa, or Sanford and Son Good Times.
Sanford and Son Good Times, Jeffersons.
Then All in the Family will come on, you know.
Man.
I think Nick at Night. It was like on Nick at Night or something like
something
that. Back
like
in the
that,
days.
man. It was on one of those channels, man. But they couldn't make those TV shows today. They could not. Everybody be up in the uproar. All in the Family? Come on, man. The Jeffersons? Come on.
You remember the Sanford and Son episode where he went to court and about the speeding ticket?
Oh yeah.
And he goes,
he said that. Man, up in there.
He's like, you ever pull over any white people? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. Where? You got so many niggas in here. You can make a Tarzan movie.
Those were the best show. I remember that classics. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's classic, man.
Oh, but you can't make it now, bro. They'll you get in trouble for it. And that's the thing. That's the saddest part in life, man. That people cannot laugh at you know, and laugh. Yeah. That's laughter is the medicine of
you have to be, man.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah,
nope, not now. It's all political jokes and stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's funny.
And they're not even funny.
Like because it's political. I don't see the humor. Like, okay, Trump. Okay, whoop de whoop. You know,
we beaten that one to death. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys, you got to have something funny. You know. But that touched on what I was saying earlier. You know, I like comedians. When I go see a comic or I'm looking at a show, hey, entertain me. I don't want to hear anything about the life of this and that, whatever it is. Hey, I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Just entertain me with some good jokes. You know what I mean? That's what I want. That's just my personality. You know.
Oh, yeah, you got to tell me with some excellent jokes. That's all it is. I got tough skin, man. Just make me laugh.
That's it.
You know.
Just make me laugh, man. Remember, what was that, Living Color? I wish they bring that back out, man. That was good,
that was classic, man. Fire Marshal Bill.
Yes.
Men on film. I think.
Men on Films.
Homie, don't play that, you know. What was the dude, the homeless dude that was like, hey, man, you know.
What was his name? What was that character? Oh, my gosh. He was... Andy, man, you can't do none of that anymore, man. I got to put up some memes. I got to find me some memes with that stuff to put it up.
Oh, man, I should talk to my homie and actually, like, man, we should do podcasts on like shows like that, man, and just talk about each episode. I think it'd be just funny and the classics and stuff.
Man. You know,
Be
a
cracking
movie
jokes all day long.
that I looked up here, this was probably like maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I looked it up to see if I could find it. Coolie High. You remember that? Oh,
Yeah, man.
man.
Yeah. You know
Man.
what's funny about that movie? When I was a kid and watching, like, how come, like, every time that, you know, they're in the party, I'm like, I used to tell my dad, how come I don't hear no lyrics? Because I'm like, and everybody's dancing. I'm like, there's no lyrics. You know, like, I never heard any lyrics, you know? So, like, porno music is always like something like there's no lyrics, you know? And stuff. I watched all that, man. I watched
Man.
all black exploitation movies,
Oh, man.
Blackula,
Oh,
Black
Blackula.
Seas,
Oh, my
Three the
God,
Hard
yeah.
Way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, those are classics, you know?
Man, those are
Yeah,
good stuff.
I love
man.
those movies.
Oh, absolutely, man. Except I'm a movie buff. I'll watch movies all day if I had the time to. I would sit there and just try to find the older movies. You know, you go back and go through Netflix trying to find 80s movies. What was the one you're talking about Kung Fu? What was it? Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. You know, I watched that the other day, man. Oh, that was good stuff.
You know, talking about black exploitation, I'll tell you one quick story. When I went to California to do a pay-per-view and we were getting our rental car and we're like, holy shit, Rudy Ray Moore, Dolomite. And he was right there. We bumped into Dolomite. Man, I marked out. Like, oh man, Rudy Poo, you know, he's just a great guy, man.
Was he awesome?
He was a great guy. Man, he loved it. Yeah, man, getting that attention.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people, you know, it's a black exploitation movie. I mean, I know he has fans, but you know what I mean? It's probably not like, oh, it's Tom Cruise, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that.
Right.
But when he gets noticed, he was like, hey, yeah, thank you. And he talked to me. It was fun. He was a good dude.
That's cool, man. This has been awesome, man. I'm telling you, you got me over here geeking out and marking out. Just this has been good, man. Hopefully we can get you on again.
I'm a comedian, man. I throw it out there, man. I crack jokes all the time. Sometimes I'm surprised that, you know, FCC don't come over here and ban me. You know, we gotta get this boy off the air, man. This boy has too much trouble, man.
He's bringing too much attention.
Yeah, he's this boy is, you know, uprising, you know.
Right.
I'm like Cleveland Little and Blazing Saddle. Hold it. You know.
Oh, that's still one of the classic movies, man. Where are the white women at? You know? I love that person. Oh, man.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you, man. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of your show. I always listen.
Brother.
Like, I'm going to work today. Guess what? I'm going to be listening to your episodes, man.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
I jump around like a rabbit. Like, I'm like always looking like, hey, I'm going to listen to this one. I'm going to listen to this one. I'm going to save this one for later because this is an hour show. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, you're doing great, man.
Thanks,
I appreciate you. There's a lot of fans out there, but like I said, I'm the number one, man. So just remember, you got a wrestling number one fan here.
Oh, man, I appreciate you, man. You got a brother blushing over here, man. It don't happen, but you know.
No, hey, man, but
I'm blushing. Wait a minute.
There you go. But hey, man, I got to talk to you about that shirt, man. I didn't tell you could use my likeness on that, man. So, you know, you got to give me some royalties on that shirt.
I got you.
No, but again, man, I really, it's an honor. I appreciate you.
Friend.
Thank you for having me on. I know you have better guys to come on the show, brother. And I just feel honored, man.
Hey, I appreciate you more than you know, man. Before you get out of here, man, tell everybody how they can find you, man. All your podcast, your social media, everything, my friend.
I would, but I got warrants, man. So I don't know if I should tell my location. No, man, you can find me on like Shooting from the Hip. You know, that's my podcast. I'm with Gentleman Jack. We talk about wrestling and my wrestling careers. We have a lot of wrestling guests on the show. I'm on Facebook. I'm easily found. Angel Medina, you know, I'm on Instagram, a.medina262 on Instagram. So like I said, I'm not incognito. I'm not that hiding out. You can find me. I'm very easily accessible. So I appreciate you guys. And again, I'm going to talk about you on my show, man, because like I said, I'll put you guys over, you know, because you're great.
Hey, man, thank you so much, man. You're a great man, great attitude. We got to do this again, man. You know, with some of those kids
Anytime,
find you
man.
out there.
No, don't do that, man. I don't got that much money. You know? I ain't the pappy.
Oh, man. All right, brother, man. We'll talk soon, man. We'll do this again. What you got, brother?
Gotta get Joe Bruce props before I leave, man. Gotta give Joe Bruce props. I even got the little rum, man. Don't drink his rum.
Man. That is classic, man. I love it.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Man. We'll talk soon, my friend. I appreciate you more than you know, brother.
Lines on my face like cracks in the road. Still chasing fire through the years half slow. Weights on my back, sweating.